So hello everybody, this is Sofa, and today I will introduce you to one of my favorite pieces from my collection. Now several years ago I purchased this binocular with the case, and it unveiled just recently, I would say just a year ago, its secrets. I will actually go a little bit into the details a little bit later on, so let's have a look into the case itself. So as you can see, these are military issued binocular cases. Unfortunately, I don't have the strip. I just got it like that. Actually, everything is in good condition. So let's open it up so I can show you what it is. So here we go. So what we can see here is these binoculars were made in the United States. It's actually 6x30 and were made by the company Bausch and Lomb Optical Co. Rochester, New York. And this company, as many others, supplied actually England in 1940, so during the World War II. The interesting thing about it is, if you take a look at it, I will in a minute take them out of the case. They have those arrows. Now, those arrows are actually acceptance markings by the British, and it's kind of like, it's not unusual, but it's an unusual story, say it like that, because we have here American binoculars made for the British, and the best part will be, I will show it to you in a minute. Now, if we take them out, the leather is kind of like, you can see, they were heavily used. These are the binoculars by themselves. They have even the original leather strip, but it's actually, it was fixed by somebody, I don't know, but it's still good. So you can see military stereo, 6x30. The company as mentioned before, and I kind of like very interesting pieces because you can see it here. So here are the acceptance markings, serial number, and they work. But I personally, let me see, maybe you can actually take a look into it. No, yeah, you can see there is some dust in them, so I'm kind of like, I don't want to open them up and fix them, clean them. I would like to keep them the way they are. So you can see pretty nice pieces, worn. They've seen probably a lot of combat too. It would be interesting to see what kind of combat they went through, but this is something we will never know. So you're gonna ask, where is the secret story? Where is that little thing you talked about, the unusual part? Now, when I was starting to clean out the cover or the case, well, this is normal because it is ripped off from those pieces here. So when you are taking out, it's kind of like ripping off that part here. And I have cleaned that several times with oil to keep it even more preserved. Ballistol oil, if I remember correctly. Gun oil is also good to keep that leather intact. Even the rubber here is kind of still working. I found following. So I was reading through this. I was reading this marking here. So as I mentioned, it's made in the United States, and I recognized one little thing. I recognized that little piece here. So I thought to myself, what is that? Why is it here, and how comes that it's so loose and so on? So what I did, I was starting to investigating, and I recognized that this piece can be taken out. Oh, look at this. And what I got here. So when I take this out, I'm getting this, and that's where it kicks in. Now, when I the first time I seen that, I was like, wow. And then I recognized one thing, that there was even a paper in it. So I took both pieces out, and just to show you. Now, this is a very nice silk piece. It's very carefully sewed on it. And we can see here something very interesting, because this is in Russian. And this is 1941. Now, after I will give you in a minute a translation for the text, I also recognized this piece, and I was like, what is that? And I've actually seen a message on the backside. Now, basically what it says is, this is a German translation from Russian to German. And interestingly, this is written on like a bank sheet, bank sheet for transferring money and so on. That's actually a very old one. That's actually from the wartime. That it says, Albert, your good heart, honesty, and frankness have left indelible feelings in my heart for you. Dora, October 18th, 1941. Now, this is something very interesting and very unique, because out from the history books, I remember that on the 17th of October, the city of Taganrog was actually taken by the Germans. So this is a very interesting historical piece. This is something not very common. It's you find a message actually written in Russian, translated to German. And so I started to research and found out that during this time there was a very interesting thing going on in Taganrog. October 17, 1941, the Venus River was crossed by the 14th Panzer Division, and Taganrog was captured by German troops, with the mountain troops entering Stalino, forcing the newly formed 12th Army into a renewed withdrawal. However, the autumn rains had begun, and the Rasputitsa, or roadliness, had set slowing the 1st Panzer Army's advance to meter by meter. This meant that the leading German units did not reach the outskirts of Rostov until mid-November, having lost contact with the Red Army in the meantime. The assault on Rostov began on 17th November, and on 21st November the Germans took Rostov. However, the German lines were overextended, and Klein's warnings that his left flank was vulnerable and that his tanks were ineffective in freezing weather were ignored. 1 month later, the Rostov offensive operation took place. On November 27, the 37th Army, commanded by Lieutenant General Anton Ivanovich Lopatin, as part of the Rostov Strategic Offensive Operation 17th November 41 until December 2nd, 1941, counterattacked the 1st Army's spearhead from the north, forcing them to pull out from the city. Adolf Hitler countermanded the retreat when Rundstedt refused to obey. Hitler sacked him and replaced him with Reichenau. However, Reichenau saw that once that Rundstedt was right and successfully pursuing Hitler via Franz Halder, it's Halder actually, to authorize the withdrawal, and the Panzer Army was forced back to the Minus River at Taganrog. It was the first significant German withdrawal of the war. So I hope that you all like this little story. So I wish you all a great weekend. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave some comments, that would be awesome. And see you next time.